All right, we're back. Another specialty pod here in the Sort of Sports podcast. Last week was also NBA based because we talked about if I was the commissioner of the NBA. And the nice thing is there was no one there to argue with what I would do. This week, brought my buddy Ronald on. So, Mr. RJ Wolf, thanks for coming back. I think is what, third or fourth time?
Yeah, third or fourth. We've done a lot of baseball, is what we've done mainly.
Yeah.
But now we're doing a little basketball, so I'm excited.
Okay, so we realistically, I think we're going to title this something like Nikola Jokic Love Fest. I don't know if that'll get me demonetized. Not that I'm monetized anyways, but it might be misconstrued as sexual content if I call it the Nikola Jokic Love Fest. You don't want to search Google for that. So, did they make? Never mind. So we decided we were going to talk about Nikola Jokic, and part of it I think that factored in was the fact that the other day I had a conversation with somebody who's a big Shai Gilgeous-Alexander fan, and they were telling me that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a generational talent, and that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander deserved to be MVP this season. And this just kind of filled me with rage to the point that now I'm basically rooting against the Thunder for the rest of the season. And I basically made that TikTok I sent you yesterday that I made just to spite that guy. Because we're still friends, me and that guy, but that take is just egregious.
No, it's horrible. And I think the phrase generational talent is thrown around way too easily now. Like Jordan, LeBron, Kobe, those are generational talents. Jokic is a generational talent. Shai is not.
Paul George is not a generational.
Paul George is not a just because you're an MVP candidate,
or an MVP winner. I wouldn't say Harden is a generational.
I wouldn't say Harden's generational either.
To me, the generational would be
Curry is.
Yeah, Curry. So yeah,
you got to have that success for years in a row. You can't just do it for 1 year or a couple years like Shai is. But
and I think to me, to be a generational talent, you would have to be somebody that completely at one point in your career, you were the best player
in the world.
Point blank. And you won the chip. I think you have to win the chip along with it.
Would you say Giannis is generational?
That's an excellent question. At this stage, there was probably a point where I said he was going to be, right? Generational talent. But I think if with the current trajectory we're on, and it's 2 MVPs, 1 year we won Defensive Player of the Year and MVP, which was cool, and then 1 finals win. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a tough one. He's right on the edge.
Yeah, I think to me, a good base, I would say, is you look at it, there's pretty consistently about 2 generational players per generation, right? So we won't go all the way back. I won't make you do Bill Russell, Wilt, and stuff like that. We won't do that.
Right.
But let's say, starting in the 80s, it's obviously Magic Bird.
They're generational.
Then in the 90s, I would say it's MJ. And I would secondly say Hakeem Olajuwon.
I would say Hakeem is generational, yeah.
And then for the 2000s, it's probably Shaq and Kobe, which is absurd, but that's true. It's probably Shaq and Kobe. And then after that, it's LeBron, KD, and then Curry.
Yeah.
But I would say LeBron kind of went for 2 generations.
Yeah.
So.
And then would you say Jokic?
And then I would say Jokic.
Right.
I would say those are the ones.
No Duncan?
Do you think Duncan? I guess the thing is generational. I think the thought process is you are a type of player will never. We see once a generation. You change the way the game is played. You are so absurdly unique. So it's Magic and Bird, and Kareem would obviously qualify, Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell. Those guys changed the way the game was being played. Michael Jordan obviously was just playing at the highest level. Same thing with Kobe Bryant. Shaq was just an unstoppable force. Giannis, to me,
I think Giannis
is a lot like Shaq.
I think he falls in almost closer to the Dirk, Hakeem generational thing. Are they? Maybe not. They're fringe guys.
I think Hakeem's pretty definitive in my mind.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, but I'm a big Hakeem Olajuwon guy.
Okay.
When we talk later about greatest centers of all time, Hakeem might be my pick, which is crazy, but he was. If we just want to pull up the Hakeem Olajuwon basketball reference, by we I mean I'll do it. There's just some absurd numbers.
You'd say he's greater than Shaq.
The thing is with Hakeem Olajuwon is you look at this, he's getting MVP votes in the top 10 pretty much his entire career. He got MVP votes as a rookie. He was second Rookie of the Year. He was an All-Star as a rookie. He was second team All-NBA his second year in the NBA. First team All-NBA his third season.
How many DPOIs?
He averaged 20 points a game for his first, 12 seasons in the league.
Yeah.
97's kind of his last year of his peak, and then he tapers off, right?
Right.
But He wins 2 finals, both of them he's finals MVP. He only wins 1 MVP, but he's also going up against Jordan, who had 5.
Right.
He has 2 Defensive Player of the Years, 1 in the same year he won MVP. I mean, to me, I'm really big on Hakeem Olajuwon. The thing is, though, if we go to Shaquille O'Neal's got relatively similar numbers. He's getting MVP votes as a rookie. He won Rookie of the Year, unlike Hakeem.
Mm-hmm.
He's averaging 20 points a game off the rip. He averages 20 points a game for about 14 years. He only has 1 MVP, just like Hakeem, which is interesting. But no Defense Player of the Years.
Mm-hmm.
And like defensively, Hakeem is a better defender than Shaq. Now, granted, Shaq has 4 championships. And about, I would say, the 3-peat with the Lakers, he's better than Kobe on those teams. Kobe's great, but I mean, Shaq was the best player in the NBA at the time. So it's like, the fact that he 3-peated, I think, really helps him. But I also would say, Hakeem gets 2 chips, and both of them are when MJ's gone. So if we're taking MJ out of the equation, I'm saying Hakeem probably has more. But now we're playing hypothetical ball, which isn't always the best. So I'm a big Hakeem Olajuwon guy.
What about Kareem?
See, Kareem's an interesting one because Kareem gets 5 NBA championships, 2 Finals MVPs. And I actually named that before I pulled up the reference. I was proud of that. Excuse me. Sorry. He wins 6 NBA titles. My bad. I forgot. He got all 5 at the Lakers.
Yeah.
I forgot. I don't know why I thought he retired before the 5th one.
God, he has 6 MVPs.
Yeah. So the 6 MVPs is huge. In the 70s, he was point blank the best player for basically the entire decade.
Yeah.
Like Bill Walton comes in 1977 and wins the finals, but Kareem still won MVP that year. The interesting thing though is when he's with Milwaukee for that stretch from his rookie year all the way until 1975, he's not winning championships. He only wins 1 championship with the Bucks, and it's his 2nd year there with Oscar Robertson. He's averaging 31.7 points per game. Year after that, he averages 34.8, which is like an absurd amount of points to average, especially in 1972.
Yeah, I didn't know he averaged that many.
And 3-point field goals he was shooting non-existent.
Right.
He's not. The 3-point line's not there. And Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is averaging.
So did he never attempt one? Am I reading that right?
Well, it didn't exist. There was
but
no
when they
3-point line.
did.
Oh, yeah, he's never shot.
He never attempted a 3-point.
No, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar never attempted a 3-pointer. It's pretty funny. Maybe in the playoffs he did. Nope.
Yeah, we got 1.
1
in 87, 88.
There you go.
That's awesome. Good for him.
That's pretty absurd. That's wild.
Yeah, that is weird.
But anyways, going back to the Kareem piece, my thing with Kareem is obviously he's great putting up these big numbers, but then he gets to the Lakers and he's awesome for them. I mean, he's always averaging like around 25 plus. Mm-hmm. But when they start winning the finals and they win in 80 and they win in 82 and they win in 85 and they win in 87, 88, he's not the best player. Magic Johnson's the best player. Now, granted, maybe you could say in 80 and 82, Kareem is the best player on that team, but Magic Johnson wins finals MVP in 80 because Kareem gets hurt and he's got to fill in a spot in the finals. So, I think Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, to me, the championships are a little less impressive. So it's a little weird.
I like how his last 3 years in the league, they just gave him All-Star, even though he averaged 10 points a game.
Yeah, that's what LeBron's going to be doing in a couple of years.
Yeah. If he might still be averaging 20. I don't know.
Wow.
You don't think he can get 20 in a couple years?
I don't know. I think
there's a decent chance.
We get a little too excited, like how long he can keep this up. That's a different pod.
He's 42 years old. I think he can get
maybe
20.
I shouldn't say he can keep it up because 20 points anymore isn't that different.
That's what I'm saying. That's like
I think
a
Jordan
fringe
Clarkson
All-Star
averages 20.
Yeah, right.
Which is like nothing against Jordan Clarkson, but
Cam Johnson will get you 20 a night.
Yes, you're right. He will get the average 20. You're right.
Not in the same efficiency, but
yeah, no, you're correct.
He'll get there, maybe.
All right, so let's switch it back to Jokic. I wanted to ask you, what is your earliest memory of Nikola Jokic? What's the farthest back you can remember?
Oh gosh, 20.
I'm assuming you don't remember him being drafted during the Taco Bell.
No, I would
41st
say
overall.
like 2016 probably. I think I drafted him in fantasy basketball, and that's where my love of him started. Yeah, because he was like quietly really good. Like, because he still got you assists and rebounds and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Look, let's see what he was averaging in 2016.
He was 10 points a game. So he'd be a rookie because he took his first year off.
Okay. Maybe it was the year after that.
Service. Maybe 17. So he was averaging 16.7 points per game.
5 assists, 10 rebounds.
5 assists, 10 rebounds. That's pretty
like
decent.
He was putting up good numbers.
If he was like a 5th or 6th round pick in fantasy, it'd be a steal.
That's I'm guessing what he probably was for me. So that's why I kind of fell in love with him. And then especially on that bubble run, is when I think things really, when him and Murray we're going crazy, is when I really fell in love with him.
I'm just curious what the 2017 Nuggets roster is looking like.
Yeah, Kenneth Faried probably.
Yeah, I'm thinking, like, is Ty Lawson still there, or is he gone by then? So what? Emmanuel Mudiay
Mike Miller.
is rocking.
Mudiay, yeah.
I remember him. Jamal Murray,
Plumlee,
Jameer
Nurkic.
Nelson. Yeah, it's a fun team. Kenneth
Will
Faried.
Barton.
This team probably what, 6th seed in the West? No, 9th. Good night. 40 and 42.
I bet the year after that, though, they might have gotten the 6th seed.
Nope, they went 9th the next year too.
Okay. Well, they went 40. Wow.
And then they made a huge jump.
They went 46 and 36 and got the 9th seed.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Mike Malone's been coach there for a while. I didn't realize he was coach back then.
Yeah, and then 2019 they broke through. They're second in the West, 54 and 28.
Man, I did not know his dominance started that early.
What's interesting is, so in the 2019 preseason, their odds to win the chip were 20,000 to 1. Mm-hmm. Well, plus 20,000, not 20,000 to 1. Goodness, no. It would be, divide by 100, so 2,000 to 1 is what that'd be. No, 201.
Let's move on.
I had to do the math. It's 200 to 1 is what it is. So they were 200 to 1 for the preseason odds, but plus 20,000. And then you go to the preseason odds the next year, now they're 20 to 1.
Yeah.
Like, it went down a tenfold.
Yeah.
Which is pretty crazy when you think about it, because it was just in the span of one season.
What I always found funny is when they were going on their little bubble run, I think Jamal Murray, there was a period of time when people were wondering if Jamal Murray was going to end up being better.
Yeah, because he came back in the bubble and he was
doing
averaging
some crazy
like 40.
stuff.
He was averaging like 40 at the beginning of the bubble.
I remember I loved watching him and Mitchell go at it.
Yep.
Jazz Nuggets. That was a great series.
Did that go 7 games?
Yeah, I think it did. And then the Nuggets played.
Nuggets played the
won
Lakers. The Nuggets played the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals.
Lakers won 6, 5, 6.
I think it went 6, but that was the one where the Nuggets were about to like take hold. I think it was 2-2, and then I remember this so clearly because I was like going to the bathroom and I was like, I had the TV on and I could hear it, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be a buzzer beater shot. They're gonna give it to LeBron, and so I ran back out to watch it, and they basically set up the play so it looked like it was going to LeBron, and then Davis got to hit the buzzer beater for the win.
Yeah,
I think that won them Game 5, and then the Lakers took the next.
And that was a rookie Michael Porter Jr. as well. And before they had Aaron Gordon.
That'd be Porter's second year. He's 2018.
Well, okay, his first year though, he didn't play at all.
Yeah, you're right.
So
yeah,
I don't know if he technically did play or not, but he barely played. So it was.
I think it was his rookie year. You're right.
But then they didn't have Aaron Gordon yet, and they had. So he was a big get for them a year or two later.
I think Aaron Gordon was on the 2020 team.
I don't think he was. He was.
Did they acquire him in 2021?
Yeah, I'm fairly certain, but yeah, check it.
So he was traded 2021. You're right.
So yeah,
that was a big get for them.
Yeah, big get because I think him and Jokic just play off each other so well.
When I remember when he got moved there, and this wasn't really a hot take. Everybody thought this. Everybody was like, "Wow, well, that's going to unlock him." Like he's being around Jokic. There's no player that elevates talent more than Jokic.
He got Bruce Brown.
Bruce Brown got
paid.
paid.
A bag, yeah.
Bruce Brown.
And I don't even know what team he's on now. Is he on the Raptors still or?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Let's check Bruce Brown.
But yeah, Jokic got that man paid like he was averaging 20.
Pelicans.
He's on the Pelicans.
It's a good stash.
It's a good stash.
Yeah, he's been moved. He was moved.
See, man, he went from averaging
11.5. He's been worse ever since.
While being a good defender and what kind of shooting was he doing?
I don't know if he's that
mid shooter. Yeah,
mid-shooter.
But he was a good defender. He was good for his role, and then
he got paid.
He's basically what Christian Brown is now.
Yeah, I think Brown's a better shooter.
I agree.
Brown's got a little more catch.
And Brown's going to get better, I think, too.
Yeah.
I actually am a big fan of him.
I don't know if I'm a big fan. I liked the Westbrook. I liked getting Westbrook this offseason. I thought that was fun.
Yeah, and it's working out amazing.
Yeah.
Like, it's going really well.
Like, it's not like Westbrook's that good, but it's like he's good enough for what they want him to be.
Jokic I think he'd make me a solid player, dude.
He can, I think, elevate any talent.
Yeah, he really
He's
can.
He's really good at elevating talent. It's the idea of having like a guy who's got high IQ and good passing.
Yeah.
Can really elevate. Well, I was going to say my first experience of Jokic, I very clearly remember it because I do a lot of my leagues. And 2018 and 2K18, the My League, if every single year on 2K18 My League, the first season, he would win Most Improved Player because it was like. In 2017, he put up like 16 points a game. Well, then 2K gave him like I think like an 88 or maybe like an 86 overall rating. Mm-hmm. And so then he started putting up like really good numbers in the game. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so then he'd like average like a double-double, and he would pretty quickly win Most Improved Player.
Right.
Yeah, he had an 88 that year. I just checked. Whereas the year before he had a 79. So like he won Most Improved Player every year, and I was like, who is this guy? And when he started getting good, I was originally. I mean, we can go back on old pods. Like in 2021, I didn't want him to win MVP. I thought Giannis deserved a three-peat.
Mm-hmm.
In 2022, I wanted Embiid to win.
Really?
And then by 2023, I had completely flipped. Like, over the course of the 2022-2023 offseason, I had kind of, like, started to, like, pay more attention to Jokic and kind of understand, like, what about him made him good. And I kind of started to pay more attention. And then he kind of became my favorite player. And, I mean, Giannis used to be my favorite player. I think at this point it is Jokic. And, you know, it was really funny. I mean, I used to have Embiid shirt skis. And now I'm like an Embiid hater and a Jokic lover. So, and it was funny because the year Embiid won MVP, I was like, oh, hell no. I wanted Jokic to win. So it was really funny. Apparently, I'm just not allowed to be made happy.
I guess not.
I flipped ship right at the wrong time. But then, of course, he won last year, and that was good. But, yeah, so there you go. That's my story. A little different than yours. Yours was love at first sight. Mine was tumultuous.
Really?
It was a wild ride. I've been on a wild ride.
Yeah. So, yeah, the year Embiid won MVP, I thought Jokic should have won it, and I wanted him to, but I wasn't mad that Embiid won it because...
I was pissed.
Two reasons. One, dude was kind of unguardable. Like, he straight up was just... Like, no one was stopping him. What did he average?
I think that was like 33 points, I want to say.
Like, that's the... And then...
33, yeah, 33.
What made me, like, okay with it, even though I didn't like it, is at the end of the year when him and Jokic matched up, Embiid kind of, like, got the best of him. So I was like, well, I wanted Jokic to win, and I thought he should have. I wasn't mad that Embiid did. Because I kind of understood why. And he averaged 33 a game. 33, 10, and 4. I mean, and with better defense than Jokic. I wasn't mad, but, yeah, it was whatever. He was kind of unguardable that year. 9th in DPOI.
And he'd come back-to-back second. And I think that's part of the reason.
I was like, okay, fine, give it to him. And then the next year I thought, yeah, Jokic should have won it. And I think he should win it this year.
But the here damn MVP did not
I hate it.
well.
Yeah. And I don't even think it should be. I don't even think Shea's been that good to where we could say here damn.
Yeah, I mean that's
his numbers aren't as good as Embiid's.
Yeah, I mean, and I made a whole TikTok on that. I mean, we don't have to reiterate why Shea must not win, but I mean, we can do that more when we do future projections. So we talked about how we first encountered Jokic. So let's talk about then when, like, so you were just, yours was more gradual. Like, you just were like, I like this guy, I think he's good. And then you just kind of kept backing him. Whereas mine was very, like, I jumped over to him after previously not appreciating him. So let me ask, like, during the 2023 finals run, you know, what were you thinking during that? Like, what was your thoughts during that?
Oh, I couldn't have been happier. I loved every second of it. I loved the fact that he was just giving everyone the work. And I loved how every single time the Lakers would be up, and at the end the Nuggets would come back and win. I thought it was just so funny. I enjoyed it. That team that flowed like butter. Is that even a saying? It doesn't sound right. But
It's all right. I'll let it, I don't know if it's wrong. So
I mean, every game in the clutch, Jokic would make the right play, and it wasn't always him scoring. It was oftentimes just him making the right pass, setting a screen, just making the right basketball play, getting a rebound, and I loved every second of it. And I loved what the Heat were doing too with Butler, but I knew the Nuggets were winning. They were just the better team.
It felt like going into that playoffs, the Nuggets like had something going on. I remember I picked them, I think, to play the Bucks. I think I took the Bucks to win, but you know that was not my finest work. But it felt like going in, like everybody was kind of aware that like this might be the year the Nuggets break through. They'd been hanging around, they'd been close, but like this was kind of the one, and it was. And I mean, they kind of dominated. It wasn't really. We haven't had exactly a like. I don't think we've had a like everybody get your popcorn finals since 21. Like I think 22 was pretty fun, but it felt like. I don't know. I picked the Celtics to win, and that was a terrible take. Like, I think in 22, realistically, everybody with a pulse should have picked the Warriors. Whereas, like, 21, I think, was the last, like, get your popcorn ready finals.
Who was 21? Was that Bucks?
Bucks Suns.
Yeah, that was a popcorn series right there.
Because everybody, at the time, the media darling was the Suns. People forget that. Like, that Suns team, people were like, oh, my gosh, blah, blah, blah. Chris Paul's going to get his ring. DeAndre Ayton's going to be the next great center. Like, people were doing crazy stuff back then over that Suns team. And, obviously, now it's a world different for the Suns. But that 2023 finals was not really the most exciting. It was funny because I was actually in Europe while it was going on, so that was funny.
It's funny you say that. I was in not Cuba. Where was I?
You're in another country also?
I was also in another country. Yeah,
That's
I can't remember what the name of it right now.
Yeah, my high school went on a trip to Europe.
Costa Rica.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. Was that like your high school too?
It was a high school trip.
Yeah, so we both went on like senior trips essentially.
That's funny.
And and so I didn't get to watch much of the games. I remember that, and I was kind of upset, but I was like, it got done in 5 games.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like I didn't really miss too much.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the end of that Heat run, and them kind of hanging around. They didn't really do much in 2024, and then now obviously Butler's not even on the team.
Yeah.
So that was a great finals, and I really thought they'd probably go back to back. Like to me, I remember I called them the Spurs. Now, where it's like they're just every year you don't know who to pick, just take the Nuggets. And then last year, the Timberwolves, who were essentially built to beat the Nuggets, got that done. And then of course they ran into the Mavericks. And I think it's interesting. The Luka Doncic. I don't think if Luka beats the Timberwolves, I think Karl Anthony Towns is still on the Timberwolves. Like I think them losing to the Mavericks is the reason they made that move.
Right.
Because A, they knew they were going to be in money problems really quickly,
mm-hmm.
and then B, it was like, hey, we got far, but it's not like if the Timberwolves went to the finals, there was no way in hell they would have traded Karl Anthony Towns. Like it just wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, I hated the fact Timberwolves beat them. Because as a big Jokic fan, I was just rooting for him so heavily.
Me too.
But yeah, I mean that Timberwolves team with Cat and Gobert and Naz Reid, they were just built to beat him. And I don't think they really had a guy to combat Ant as well. But I mean, they were a big team that got the best of them. So credit to them.
I remember I made a pod that was like, if they beat this Nuggets team, like Anthony Edwards is gonna go like stratospheric popularity wise, and then he did.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it would have been really crazy if they would have made the finals. Like what Ant's popularity would have done if Timberwolves made the finals. And I think it really kind of sucks with the Timberwolves. I mean, I don't want to get on too much of a tangent, but like this year they're looking like they could be potentially like a play-in team. They might be like the 6th seed. Like they're a couple games back of being in the upper echelon of the West, and it's just like, I don't know. Part of me feels a little bad for Adam Silver. It's like as soon as he gets somebody he can really market, it really falls apart. Like Zion, nope, too many injuries. Ja, I don't need to go in detail on that. And then Anthony Edwards, he ain't this, and so it's like.
How are you feeling about Ja right now?
Ja's in a weird spot for me because like the Grizzlies are good and everybody recognizes it, but I feel like if the Grizzlies were in a playoff series with the Nuggets or Lakers, you would take the Nuggets or Lakers.
I feel like they often don't have the best player in the series.
Yep, which majority of the time you need the team with the best player in the series wins.
Thunder, no. Nuggets, no. Lakers, no. Rockets and Clippers,
they probably have the best player. I'd say the Grizzlies
Timberwolves, no. Warriors, no.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mavericks, I'd say no. I think the Mavericks have a better player.
That's why
I'd take Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving over.
Yeah, I agree.
Ja and Jaren
outside of the
Jr.
Rockets and Clippers, and none of us have either of those teams doing a ton. I mean, they don't have the best player in the series. I think it's kind of hard to go make a run without the best player in the series.
If the Timberwolves are the 7th seed and the Grizzlies are the 2 seed, it gets really rough for the Grizzlies.
Yeah,
because it's like maybe that Ant can just kind of drop 40 every night, and that's that.
My gripe with Ant is that he needs to work on facilitating, but then again, I don't know who's exactly going to be facilitating to, so they're just kind of in a weird spot.
The problem. Yeah, I get that.
The Randall fit's horrible. That's not working. I don't think.
I think everybody knew that wouldn't fit well.
Yeah, we knew that. It sucks because of the money thing, but God, I wish they could have kept Towns.
Yeah. All right, so back to Nikola Jokic. I think this is going to be the fun part. So we're going to look at some of the numbers. So let's just look at the base stats this year. Mm-hmm. Currently averaging a triple-double. He is 3rd in the league for points. He is 2nd in the league for assists, and he is 3rd in the league for rebounds. That's 29 points per game, 10 assists, and 13 rebounds if rounding up. Incredibly efficient. Field goal percentages, like base field goal, he's got a 57.5. From 3, he's got a 44.5. I think that's one of the best in the league.
He was first for a minute. I don't think he is anymore, but he's top 5, I think.
Okay, so this year he does lead the league in triple doubles with 26. Mm-hmm. 3-point field goal percentage is Luke Kennard with a 47.2. So that's a couple points better than Jokic.
He can't be far behind.
No, I mean we can try to find 3-point regular season leaders. It's hard to look through right now. I'm trying to figure out where it's at. But player efficiency rating, he obviously leads the league.
And you say he's first all time in that right now, isn't he?
Yeah, that's what we were gonna get to in a bit. I mean, but the fun thing is, you look at this: win shares, he's leading. Win shares per 48 minutes, he's leading. Box plus minus, he's leading. Offensive box plus minus, he's leading. Defensive box plus minus, Chris Dunn. And
Chris Dunn's underrated, dude. Credit to Chris Dunn.
Yeah, he was a bust, and now he's kind of found himself.
He's backing
his
up
place.
Harden. He's coming off the bench, I think, or sometimes starting, but
he just doesn't score.
He doesn't score for shit, but dude clamps other guards.
He's got good defense.
Shout out to the Clippers defense, number 2 in the league. I don't know if you knew that, but everyone's buying in.
Now that I knew the Clippers defense was good,
Big Zoo's been locking it down. Even like Harden and Powell, and they've kind of bought in. Derrick Jones. Okay, I'm going to rant, but
you're
good
good
defense.
It's funny looking at this. Looking at the lead leaders. It is funny just because everybody makes jokes about the Shai Gilgeous-Alexander shooting free throws all the time. He does lead the league in free throws per 36 minutes.
Yeah.
And then field goal attempts per game, he also leads. So he just shoots the most. Free throws per 100 possession, he also leads. And field goal attempts per game, he leads. Now, Giannis leads in free throw attempts per 30. Free throw attempts
per 36 is what it is?
I'm assuming.
Yeah, so he's got 11.
But then free throws just like made, I'm assuming, is Shai.
I guess made, yeah, Shai with 8.4.
Which is interesting. So
shooting a little bit better than Giannis.
Gets fouled more, but I also would make more sense that Giannis gets fouled more because
he's Shaq.
He's like more of a Shaq build.
Yeah.
That's like the closest thing to Giannis. Not like play style, but like in the way that it's like he's kind of just unguardable and he's a monster.
Yeah.
He's also a good defender.
No, right, yeah.
It's like a Hakeem type thing or like a Shaq type thing.
I think Giannis has become underrated at this point.
No, he's pretty definitively in my mind the second best player in the NBA.
Yeah, I think people I don't hear enough about him, and maybe that's because the Bucks are like slightly underperforming, I guess. But I mean, he's still the second best player in the world. So I just don't want people to forget that.
I think the problem is with the East is it's like I don't see a world, even though the Bucks have the best player in the East, I think they lose to the Cavs or the Celtics in a playoff series. I think they probably even lose to the Knicks. I'm really high on the Knicks. And
really?
Yeah, I do. I think it's hard for Giannis to carry them out of that because those teams just have so much depth, and it's like, I mean, can you name me 5 guys in the Bucks?
Okay, Giannis, Brook, Dame, Kevin Porter Jr. is on the team now.
There you go.
We have this Torian Prince.
I think so. I mean, let's check.
I feel like I know more. Kyle Kuzma, and who's actually I've read somewhere, I haven't been watching, but I read somewhere he's been solid with them.
There you go. Torian Prince and Kyle Kuzma. Good job.
That's 6.
But it's not a good 6.
No, it could definitely be better.
If I said name everybody's starting 5 and their 6th man, that's probably not top 5.
No,
and I think to win the finals, you probably got to have at least top 5.
Yeah,
if not top 3.
I'm taking Portis, but he's suspended now.
Yeah, I'm taking the Nuggets starting 5 and 6 over that. Taking the Knicks.
Cavs.
I'm taking the Thunder and the Cavs. Taking the Celtics. That's your top 5.
Yeah.
Maybe one could argue the Lakers. They really like that starting lineup.
Yeah, maybe. Let's see what that center play does, but
yeah,
maybe.
I mean, they looked good last night.
They did. That was who did they play last night?
Mavericks.
Yeah, that was a good game.
Yeah, Luka was taking it personal.
He had a triple-double. Yeah,
that was pretty crazy. I mean, you knew he had to play up, and then he played well. So, anyways, the thing is with Jokic, we look at the base stats. Obviously, we're all very impressed, but I want to go into the deeper ones. So, all-time triple-double leaders, he is third all-time. Westbrook's number 1 at 202. Oscar Robinson's behind that with 181. Jokic, 156 on his career.
He's going to end up second all-time.
Yeah, I mean, there's a chance for third. This year he has 26. Let's say he ends with 30. He would have to have about 3 more seasons of 30. 2 more seasons of 30 after this one to pass Russell Westbrook, because I don't think Westbrook's going to get very many more. So he could end up all time if he can just get 30 for the next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
He needs basically after this year, if he gets 2 more or 3 more?
Yeah, 2 more.
If he gets 2 more, he'd be at 158. Then he would need 42, and I think 42 within 2 to 3 years is doable for him. So yeah, I mean, he's averaging a triple-double. He'd have to get, if he's going to continue to average a triple-double, on paper, this isn't reality, but on paper, you would have to get it for 41 games.
You ever heard the nickname Big Honey for him?
Yep.
I've never heard Big Honey.
That was an old thing.
Okay, really? What about Cookie Monster? Never heard that either.
No, never heard
I've
that.
heard Yoke. Never heard of Big Tipper.
No, I've heard Joker, Yoke, and then...
Big Honey.
The big. I've heard Big Honey. That
Really?
was like
Okay.
a thing. That was like a
when he was
thing
younger, maybe.
in like 2019, 2020.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I remember I had him in fantasy one year, even though I didn't really like him, because I had like the number 3 pick, and like somebody took like Giannis first, and then Embiid, and I was like, well, I guess I got to go Jokic.
Fantasy god, dude.
And then it was the 2021 season, I think is what it was.
Right.
And it was just, I mean, it was absurd.
Yeah,
Like,
no, he's nuts.
It has to be the number 1 pick in every fantasy league. Like it's so
like he's been that, and he'll continue to do that until he falls off. But I mean, he's just far and away the best fantasy player.
I think the thing we don't also like talk about that much with Jokic, which is funny to me, is like his age. I mean, right now he's 29. He could continue to play at this level for at least 3 to 4 years.
And he doesn't rely on his athleticism at all.
No.
So he could really, I mean, he could if he wanted to play into, I feel like, his mid to late 30s, but who knows if he wants to, you know?
Yeah, taller guy. You cut off some years just from his height. I'm standing at 6'11". I don't think he's doing the LeBron like crazy like, keep yourself. But let's say he wants to play to 36, and right now
he's actually 30, not 29. He just turned 30.
Oh, okay, good call. Okay, you just look at it right here.
Yeah, I did.
He turned 30
7
a week
days ago, yeah.
Good call. So he's 30 right now. Let's say he wants to play though he's like 35, 36. I'm willing to bet you can get at least 2 more years at this level.
Yeah.
Which is absurd. So let's get into the stats just for all-time stuff. So all-time leaders in player efficiency rating. Third is LeBron James with a 26.95 for his career. Second's Michael Jordan with a 27.91. So already you feel like the numbers are decent because those are pretty definitively the 2 greatest players of all time. Those are the top 2. Mm-hmm. Well, number 1 is Nikola Jokic with a 28.48. So he's a good, almost exactly a half a point above Michael Jordan. Yeah. And he is over a point ahead of LeBron. So pretty absurd when you put it in perspective all time. Like on time, he's the most efficient player ever, and he's beating out guys like Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and obviously that would mean he's beating out anybody you want to list. Wilt Chamberlain, like whoever you want to say, he's beating them out.
Right.
All-time leaders for box plus minus. This is like a stat that basically tries to estimate the like total impact of a player on the court. And this isn't only offensive box plus minus. I'm going just in general box plus minus. We're factoring in defense. Third is LeBron James with an 8.57 for his career. Second is Michael Jordan with a 9.21 for his career. And number 1 is Nikola Jokic with a 10.25. The other thing I want to point out here, first of all, he is a point and a half ahead of LeBron and over a point ahead of Jordan, which is crazy. Other thing I want to point out here, let's say he does only want to play about 5 more years, and he plays at a top level for about 2 to 3 more. These numbers are going to stay very similar because he's not going to have a bunch of seasons where he's just kind of wasting away.
Right.
So he's going to probably retire with some of the most insane advanced metrics of all time.
Right.
Top 25 PER seasons ever. Jokic has the highest PER of all time this season with a 33.08. Second highest ever is also Nikola Jokic in 2022 with a 32.85. Mm-hmm. So players with multiple seasons in the top 25. Embiid has 2 seasons, Wilt Chamberlain has 3, Giannis has 3, LeBron has 4, Michael Jordan has 4, and Jokic has 5, including this year.
Wow.
So by the player efficiency metrics, he is pretty much the PER GOAT.
Yeah.
And he's having the best PER season of all time. So we go over to box plus minus. The highest ever is Jokic this season with a BPM of 14.01. Second highest ever is Jokic in 2022 with a BPM of 13.72. So players that have multiple seasons in the top 25 for box plus minus is Giannis Antetokounmpo has 2, LeBron has 5, Jokic has 5, and Jordan has 6. Top 5 box plus minuses ever, Jordan doesn't have any in the top 5. It's Jokic at 5 last year with a 13.01. Jokic is number 4 from 2 years ago with a 13.23. LeBron in 2009 has a 13.24. Jokic in 2022 is a 13.72, and Jokic this year is a 14.01, highest box plus minus ever. For those of you that are interested in this, I would watch Jimmy High Roller's video, Are We Witnessing the Greatest Peak in NBA History? He did that this winter on
Great
Jokic.
video.
It's an excellent video about how basically by every advanced stat possible, any stat that's basically listing or trying to calculate a player's value relative to their team, by all those numbers, Jokic these last 5 years has been, 5 years. These last 5 years has been the most valuable player ever. And it's not just offensive. It does obviously offense is what makes the most impact. But I think the whole defender thing is blown out of proportion for what it's worth.
He's not a bad defender at all.
People act like he's a terrible defender.
No, I think he's as in terms of a defensive center and a rim protector, I'd say he's fairly average, just down the middle.
I also think when you're averaging 12.6 total rebounds, you can't be a terrible defender.
And he gets steals too. I mean, he's a cookie monster. It's his nickname, dude. He gets steals. So
you're pulling out the cookie monster.
I mean, he's not defending the rim like Gobert in his prime, but he's doing something. He's not a negative.
He does get 1.8 steals.
2 steals a game.
He's not. It's not like, oh man, we got to get Jokic out of there. It's crunch time.
I think he's a smart defender more than anything. You know.
Yeah. I think the thing is people just want to see like a Giannis athleticism thing from him because you look at the guys he's getting compared to. It's like. In the top players, it's like Giannis is the next one up, and it's like Giannis is, for my money, the best defender in the league, not named Wemby. So it's like that's kind of the problem there. It's like your best defenders like Giannis, AD, and Wemby, and those guys are all super athletic, and Jokic isn't that athletic and isn't as good a defender as those guys. But I think it's funny because no one ever really brings that up about Luka, I would say. Like, I think everybody's like, man, Luka. It's like Luka, I think, is a worse defender than Jokic.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
Consistently.
Yeah.
And I would say, I don't think Shea's a very good defender either. But
really, I don't think he's a bad defender. I think he's actually pretty good.
I don't think he's good.
I don't think he's great.
I don't have anything to back that up, though. I'm literally just saying when I watch Shea, I'm not like, wow.
Yeah, I agree. When I watch him, I would say he's just
fine.
Yeah, I would say out of 10, he's like a 7.5.
Like I'm saying, in Jokic's defense, if him and Shea are both the same level of good at defense, Jokic is 6'11", which automatically makes him better. That's my thought process.
I would say Shea is the better defender, but it's not by a wide margin at all.
Okay.
It's fairly close. And I think the other thing with Jokic, we could talk about advanced metrics and stats and numbers all day, but that only tells half the story. You got to watch him in person, the eye test as well. And this dude genuinely doesn't miss a shot or turn the ball over. I feel he just makes everything. Like, I see him maybe miss a couple times a game and maybe turn it over once a game, and it's unbelievable. I don't see anyone just never miss like him.
It pretty much feels like once per Nuggets game, he just does something absurd.
Yeah. I saw the other day he was at the top right part of the three-point line in the wing, and without looking to the other corner, he just threw it over his head, and it was like a bullet. Like, the strength you have to throw a pass like that is insane. And he made it look easy. So, I'm in awe every time I watch him.
He's my favorite player to watch. People that say, I don't understand the thought process when people are like, oh, he's boring, I hate watching him, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't understand how he's boring. Like,
no, I don't get it.
I think if you think he's boring, I think it's very much like his TikTok edits aren't the coolest, right?
Yeah, he's not dunking on guys.
He's not a TikTok edit guy. Like Cade Cunningham is a TikTok edit guy, and I love
John
Cade
Morant,
Cunningham.
Yeah, they're TikTok edit guys.
Whereas it's like, you can make some cool Cade Cunningham edits where it's him hitting a big three, it's him making a nice dunk on somebody, right? Like Cade Cunningham, Anthony Edwards, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, like those guys get those TikTok edits. Jokic is not a TikTok edit guy. Jokic is like you're watching the game and you're like, whoa, that was a hell of a pass. Or like, oh, that was a nice play. How did he make that? That's the Jokic stuff. And I think guys, like there's a large portion of the NBA fandom that wants TikTok edit guys, and I think it's kind of dumb because it's like, I don't know. It would be like, I love movies that are like big dumb action movies, but I also enjoy some movies that are legit dramas. Like, and just because something's a legit drama doesn't mean it's automatically boring.
Yeah.
Like a drama can be just as intense, if not more intense, than like a big action movie. And I would say they're the big action movies. Right. And while those are great, there's something to be said about just a pure drama.
Jokic is Citizen Kane. He's
I don't know. Citizen Kane is like a bit weird just because like the movie's so old.
What's a movie that's like not even super flashy or fancy, but it's just peak?
I would say
like Shawshank.
Yeah, I would say like Shawshank's probably the go-to, right? Like Shawshank Redemption, I would say. Like for me, I really like Casablanca. Most people haven't seen it. Like something that's very like toned down. It's just quality. It knows what it's doing. It's high
Tim
IQ.
Duncan. Yeah.
Right. Like exactly. That would be to me that would be like Jokic. And it's like I understand if somebody likes like what's a big boisterous action movie?
It's like Infinity War.
I would say Die Hard. Would I go?
Okay.
Let's say Die Hard. Or I guess a Superman's fine too. Yeah, any of those.
They're enjoyable. They're flashy. They're fun to watch, but it's not. You're not getting the best possible product.
Well, I don't know if you're not getting the best possible product. I'm just saying it's not. I'd say it's all up to interpretation, right? Like, there's plenty of people that watch Shawshank and probably not feel it, but they watch, a big action movie or a super movie and they like it more, and that's fine. I'm just saying the idea that he's boring. I just don't get. I'm like,
I just love watching someone be the very best at what they do, no matter what it is. Like Jokic is like when I watch him on the court, he's always the best player, and he's like by far like just the smartest and most efficient. Always makes the right play, and it's just satisfying, like watching someone be the very best at what they do. And that's what it is with Jokic.
And I'd also say the effortlessness of it is part of the reason it's entertaining to me.
Yeah, right.
Like, it seems so casual.
Like when he's falling away and hoisting a ball over his head from half court and just drains it and then doesn't care. It's like, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah, the fact that it's so casual to me makes it like more impressive.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I really like about it, is the casualness.
Right.
The effortlessness is part of the fun. It's not, when people get mad about his effortlessness, it doesn't really make any sense to me.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about this season, right? I think you and I are both in agreement that he should be the MVP.
Yeesh.
I don't think there's really any question in my mind. Shea is averaging 3 more points, less rebounds, less assists. He's on a better team. That team is ahead of the Nuggets by
8.5.
8.5 games. But, I mean, I think Jokic, to me, we would regret it if we don't give it to him. He's having, on paper, the greatest offensive season of all time. You watch him, you feel like he is carrying the Nuggets. I think without him, without him, this team is X isn't the best argument for MVP. I don't think that should be the sole argument. I get if you bring it up, though. I'm saying it is, without Jokic, I don't think this Nuggets team is anything better than a play-in team. Whereas I think the Thunder are probably still top 6 seed without Shea. And maybe some people disagree with me, but I think there's a lot of talent on that Thunder team. And, I think we just blow the Shea thing out of proportion. I'm kind of becoming a Shea hater and a Thunder hater.
Yeah, I am too, and I hate the fact that I am. And I couldn't even tell you why. But
I'm proud of it. I'm rocking with it.
Really? No,
Why do you hate it?
He's done nothing to make me hate him. I should like Shea, but
I think the perception of them has just gotten so out of hand.
Yeah.
Like the idea that it's like, oh, they're going to dominate for the next 5 years. And it's like, they haven't even made it to the Western Conference final. Well, no, they didn't make the conference finals last year, did they?
No, they didn't.
No, they didn't make conference finals.
Mavs, Timberwolves, yeah.
I was like, we were saying, I mean, we were little, but I remember when the Thunder had Harden, Westbrook, and KD, and I played with them at 2K13 at my buddy's house. We were like, wow, this team's going to be so good. Look at all this talent. And then what the hell happened? Now, granted, I don't know if anybody's trying to leave for the Rockets, but I'm saying, you can have all this talent. Sometimes it doesn't work out. I mean,
yeah.
Boston Celtics, you looked at all those picks they had. I don't think you'd have been like, yeah, they're going to get, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. It's like, that's all we got?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think they overrate, think about the 2018 Celtics when they had Kyrie Irving, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and all that, and they played LeBron, took him to 7 games.
Yeah.
I think if I said, hey, guess what? They win a finals. You go, oh, yeah, how soon? And I said 2024. You'd be like, get out of here.
Yeah, like there's no guarantee they're going to do anything. And yeah, like you said, I hate the argument if you take the players off their teams.
Which team's worse? That to me doesn't.
I hate it, but the Thunder are better. And imagine I once again hate it. If you switched Jokic,
I think it's okay to argue, but it can't be your only argument.
Right.
That's what I would say.
If you switch Jokic and Shea, the Nuggets are not as good as they are, and I think the Thunder are just as good, if not better.
I'd say better, but that's just me.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. But I think once again, can't be your only argument, like you said. But it's an argument. So
I mean, if you got to bring it up, I get what I'm saying. It doesn't make any sense to me to if we give Shea the MVP, and then the Thunder lose in the Western Conference Finals, or the Thunder lose maybe in the second round, right? Like they just got a bad matchup, and they get cooked in the second round. Like we're all gonna be like, oh, whoopsie. Like you know what I mean? And
Who can you see beating the Thunder?
I mean, if we look at the West, realistically, the only teams in my mind that can beat the Thunder out of their own conference are the Nuggets and Lakers.
Lakers, yeah.
And the Lakers, it's not like I think that team's great. It's just like it's really hard to bet against a Luka,
two
LeBron
supercomputers
team.
on offense,
Yeah.
But I'd say for Jokic, I think my MVP argument comes down to 3 things. One, I think his numbers are better. He's shooting more efficiently. He's only averaging a few less points, but his assists and rebounds are way better. And the defenses are not that far apart, if not the same. 2, I forgot where I was going with this. I totally forgot the last train of thought there.
It's all right. I'll give you a mulligan. You can go again.
Okay. So 1, the numbers. 2, the eye test, I think.
Yeah,
we watch both of them play.
Absurd.
Like, I would say Jokic is just far more valuable to his own team than Shea is, and he looks better. I forgot my third argument was, but I would just say if, like, you switch the players or you took the players off their teams, the whatever team Jokic is on would perform better.
Well, I think the absurd thing is, a couple, weeks back, we were like, man, this Nuggets team, you better step up. They might be a play-in team. Then they went 9-1 in their last 10. Mm-hmm. They're 20-9 at home, which is like pretty damn good. And you look at it, there's a chance they're the 2 seed. If they're the 2 seed, and the 4 seed is the Lakers, and so then your conference semifinals would match up: Nuggets, Grizzlies, Thunder, Lakers. Well, I mean, I guess Nuggets could be the 3 seed, too. It doesn't really matter. As long as the Nuggets stay a top 3 seed, they won't have to face the Thunder until the conference finals. And I think it would be really fun if we get a conference finals that's Thunder Nuggets. Yeah. Because I could see the Thunder losing to the Nuggets. And I think it's literally just because of Jokic in my mind. And I understand you can't make an argument around one player, but I kind of am. And I do think if we give the MVP to Shea, that puts a lot more extra pressure on that team in a way that I don't know if they can respond.
Yeah.
I mean, that Thunder team is young.
They are, yeah. They're very young.
And I don't know if they can handle that.
It's rare a team that young can make a deep run or win it all. So, but, I mean, they've been there. They were there. They were close last year. They got to the second round.
I guess I'm always just wary of chalk it up for them, even though, A, they've never done it, and then B, it's not even like they've never done it. They've never even been to the Western Conference Finals, let alone the finals, let alone win the finals. Yeah. And then C, the chalk it up, it's going to be them. I just think is a bit odd when it's like, the chalk it up to me, if you're going to be a chalk it up, they're going to win it team, you better have like an absurd level player. Yeah. I don't know if I see that the Thunder. Now, maybe that's just because I'm not as big on Shea as I should be. But like that's the reason I don't chalk it up for the Cavs or Celtics, is I'm like, I don't know. When it comes down to it, if you're going to be a chalk it up for them team, you better have like a top 3 player in the league and an absurdly good team.
Yeah.
Like the last like chalk it up they got this team was the 2019 Warriors, who then got blasted by injuries.
Yeah.
And we're chalking up this Thunder team. Like we're chalking it up like it's a Thunder or Cavs or Thunder or Celtics finals. Like we were chalked up this Thunder team more than we've chalked up any team in years. Like we haven't been like, oh, this team's a lock since pre-bubble.
Yeah.
And I just think like that's.
What's a failure of a season for the Thunder team? Like if they don't make the Western Conference or finals?
If they don't make the finals. I mean,
they lose in the Western Conference finals.
If you win 60 games with a guy who could win MVP, right? Like let's say they win 60 games. Mm-hmm. They win, let's say they go 64 wins. Mm-hmm. So that would mean what? They've played 57. So they got to win 8. Well, no, that's bad math. 50. They've won 57. So they've played 57 games. They've won 46. So 57 games. They have 25 left. So I want them to win 18 out of their next 25, which I think is doable, right? They go 18-7 over this last stretch. I think at that point Shea might win the MVP. If you are winning 64 games and a guy has MVP, you should be in the finals. If they're not in the finals, it's a failure. If they lose in the finals, whatever. But I think if they're not in the finals, if let's say they go to the Western Conference Finals and they lose to the Nuggets, it's like, whoa, like we really won all those games just to get smacked in the Western Conference Finals. Like to me, that's where that sits. And I mean, you look back last couple of years. Let's look back at 2024. There's only one 60-win team. It's the Celtics. They won the finals. Okay. Let's go to 2023. No 60-win teams. 2022, one 60-win team. The Suns went 64-18, and they lost in the playoffs to the Mavericks, and they still get made fun of for that loss.
Yeah.
Like the Chris Paul hits a big 3 to cut the lead to 40 or whatever it is. Like that's a classic, right? So then we go to 2021. There's not even a 50-win team in the East.
49 wins, team.
You look in the West, there's no team over 52 wins. Go to 2020. Is there a 60-win team? No. Like when you're winning 60 games, it becomes like, okay, let's get ready. 2019, Bucks won 60 games. Giannis won MVP.
Yeah.
They didn't make the finals. They got cooked for that. Mm-hmm. They're getting made fun of. And rightly so. 2018.
65 wins. Damn.
Rockets went 65-17.
That's insane.
James Harden wins MVP.
Yeah.
To me, it's a bit different just because that Warriors team had so much talent that you can't say it was a disappointment. But if they wouldn't have lost the Warriors, they lost to anybody but the Warriors, it'd been disappointment. 2017, Warriors win 60 games, Spurs win 60 games. That's why that series was such a big deal.
Yeah.
It's always so funny. People are like, 2017 Cavs team is even better than the 2016. And they won like 51 games, even though the team the year before won 57.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't that much better. Maybe it was better, like I'm saying, but it's just funny. I'm going through history here. Now we're getting to the 73-9 Warriors. Obviously, when you're doing that well, you have to win the chip. But then year before that, Warriors won 67 games. Hawks won 60. I think for the Hawks, it was like we should, we knew they overperformed their record. They were just happy to be in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah.
The Warriors that year, it was like we got to be in the finals. We went 67-15. So to me, that's where I'm at. We just went back the last 10 years NBA history.
Yeah.
When you win 60 games, you should be in the finals. Like that's unless it's some weird circumstance, especially with the Thunder, they're probably going to be the only team. Like there might be two other teams that get 50 wins. It'll probably be the Thunder.
In the West,
Grizzlies,
you're talking?
Yeah, maybe like Thunder, Grizzlies, Nuggets. I don't see the Lakers breaking 50 wins. Maybe the Rockets somehow find a way. I don't know everybody's schedule. But it's like to me, if you're winning 50 games, you should win a playoff series. If you're winning 60 games, you should be in the finals. And then if you're winning 70 plus, like you gotta
Win it all.
You gotta win it all. That way. You're one of the greatest teams ever.
Fully healthy Thunder, fully healthy Celtics in the finals. Who you got?
I think I trust the Celtics more
I agree.
because I think the thing is with the Thunder is it's like the big man play, and it's like but Kristaps was really good last year in the finals.
And the Celtics are just a little bit bigger than the Thunder team.
Yep.
Like the wings. Like
And I'm like, who's gonna guard Jason Tatum?
like Lou Dort, who's 4 inches shorter. I mean,
No, I like Dort,
Dort's awesome. He's great.
but like I don't know.
I think he put Jalen Williams on Tatum and Dort on Brown, but
Yeah.
talk for a different day.
All right. So, do you think the Nuggets can win the finals this year? Genuinely, it's okay if the answer's no.
Yeah, but I'm going to put them in tiers. My tier 1 is Cleveland, Boston, and OKC.
Okay.
My tier 2 is Knicks, Nuggets.
You gonna put the Lakers in there or no?
Lakers. Yeah, I'll put the Lakers in there. Yeah, Lakers in there.
So it's
and
like
the
maybe.
The one team I'm debating is the Bucks, but I'm going to refrain from doing that.
Yeah, I wouldn't do the Bucks either. I think that's probably the top 5
So
teams.
and then are they tier 3 with who? Like
So like to me, it's like the favorites would be Cavs, Celtics, Thunder, and then it's like I could see it, which is like Knicks, Nuggets, Lakers. I think a lot of people wouldn't put the Knicks in there, but I think this Knicks team's really good. I'm really high on this Knicks team, and I've been the whole year. I picked them to win the finals.
yeah, they're a tier 2 team for me.
So then, tier after that is like I don't see a path, but it's like they'll make the playoffs. But like I just don't see it, and that to me is like the Pacers, the Bucks, the Grizzlies, the Rockets. Like it's all those where I'm like maybe you win a playoff series, and then after that you're getting the teams that like it would be great if they win a playoff series.
The Bucks is
for them.
tough for me because I almost
don't
feel like
see
they're
it.
closer to
I
Knicks
don't
and
see it.
Lakers than they are to Pacers.
I don't. I really am not high on this Bucks team, man. I don't think there's a lot of talent here. I just don't.
Oh, Nuggets and Bucks play tomorrow. That'll be a good game.
Yeah, man. Where's that on?
I feel it's got to be prime. Yeah,
Yeah,
TNT.
that's on everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're putting it on HBO. They're
YouTube,
doing the whole
HBO,
thing.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
All right, that'll be a good one.
that'll be interesting. I think the Nuggets should probably beat them.
Yeah, you're really not high in the Bucks team. I
don't
like
think
the
it's
Kuzma
good.
kid. I like
I
it.
don't think it's a good team.
Giannis, Portis, Kuzma, Dame, and who am I missing on this roster?
You just want me to pull up the Bucks roster and you can look at it?
But it's the same argument with Jokic. I feel like with Giannis, they have a chance.
Okay, I think the
Torian
reason
Prince,
we're saying
Adrian-
this, I think the reason you're missing Gary Trent Jr., Kuzma, Pat Connaughton. He's been there a
Yeah,
long time.
yeah.
Kevin Porter Jr. Not a lot of talent. Here's the problem with the Bucks. You got to think. I picked the Bucks to win the 2022 championship, the 2023 championship. I think I picked them in 2024 also, I want to say. Like, I've been pretty damn faithful in the Milwaukee Bucks. And the idea of just because you have Giannis, thus you are a contender. I've been pretty faithful now. I want to check, make sure. Did I take them to win the finals in 2020? Like, not at the beginning of the year. I'm just saying, like, at the playoff time. Let me check real quick. I am curious.
They're just so fringe for me. Like, I feel like if they beat the Nuggets tomorrow, I'd maybe put them in that tier 2, but if they lose, I'll put them in tier 3. That's where I'm at as of now. But I would lean towards tier 3, but I can't totally rule them out by the end of the year to put them in tier 2. Just because they have the second best player in the world in Dame.
In 2024, I took the Nuggets to beat the Bucks in the finals. I thought the Nuggets go back to back. But in 2022 and 2023, I took the Bucks to win both those finals, and they didn't get it done. Mm-hmm. And so I'm saying I'm just not of the belief that like Giannis can just, because like I do think Giannis is that level of quality. But I mean, if you said to me you're taking Jokic and Giannis off each team, which team's doing better? I think the Nuggets are a better team than the Bucks at base value.
God, let me think. Because Dame is
I don't think
elevator.
Dame's that good anymore.
I think he's still good. He's not that good, but he can be.
I'm taking Jamal Murray over him.
Nah. Let me pull up the stats. Because Murray's been inconsistent and injured quite a bit.
I understand that, but
and I like Jamal Murray. Let's look at the numbers, because I could be wrong here.
That's what I just think this Bucks team doesn't have a lot of talent on it, dude. There's no depth. It's just him and Dame. So Dame's putting up 25 a game, which is obviously impressive.
25, 5, and 5.
And then Murray's got 21, 6, and
Okay,
4.
wait. What are the shooting differences?
21, 6, and 4. True shooting 4. Am I getting true shooting on here? No, there's no true shooting. I got to go to the advanced. Give me a sec. I feel like we might as well just do true shooting, right? Yeah, man. True shooting 583 for Murray. For Dame 618. Technically, Dame's having a much better year.
And I feel like they're pretty close defensively, so I'm just gonna take Dame. I think now.
That's fine. I just don't. I was not happy with what I saw last playoffs. Is really what it.
And I don't blame you. And they're a fringe team for me. They're in the middle of tier 2 and tier 3, but they could go either way. I'm not picking them to win it all. Obviously, they're just kind of there. Yeah,
I just don't. I don't know. I'm just not high on the Nuggets. Sorry, not the Nuggets. On the Bucks at all. I just don't. I don't know.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
I don't know, man. Like, I think it was just so many
years. Depth.
So many years of being disappointed because it's not Giannis's fault. It's like they just don't have any depth. Mm-hmm. And it's like when he's out of the game, the team just dies. It's like a 2K team. Like, you sub out the best player and all of a sudden they can't score. And that's just the way
it's the Jokic thing, you know?
Yeah, but at least with Jokic, it's like he doesn't, like... With Jokic, it's not like Jokic is the only one out there doing anything. Whereas with the Bucks, it's like Giannis is out there and he's scoring. And then he gets out of the game and no one scores. At least when Jokic is in, it's like, oh, well, now Aaron Gordon's playing better because Jokic is in. Now Christian Brown's playing better because Jokic is in.
Because Jokic can facilitate.
Whereas like with Giannis, he's a good facilitator. Don't get me wrong, but he's just not elevating the team.
He's not exactly elevating the team like Jokic
It's a lot more like Giannis get the ball and go save the offense. Whereas Jokic, it's like, I'm going to run the offense. Which is, I mean, it's just different play styles. But I think it's harder. I mean, I think the Bucks roster is worse. I think and then I think Jokic is slightly better than Giannis. If Giannis is a top 5 player offensively and a top 3 defender, Jokic is the number 1 offensively, and it's a pretty decent gap. Like, I don't know if Giannis is really offensively better than Luka. Like, I don't think he really probably is. But the defense is what puts him over.
Right.
So, that's kind of what my thought is. I don't know. I just don't. If the Bucks are on a Cinderella run, I'd be happy for Giannis. I would love to see it. But like,
I think we both love Giannis.
I've just bought out on it, and it's not Giannis's fault.
It's everyone else.
I've kind of just accepted the fact that like, hopefully he plays his whole career out there. He has one chip that's really fun, and it's sad, and that's the end of it. Like that's.
I think Mike Malone is also a better coach. I think Mike Malone's a good coach. To where who's the Bucks? Is it Doc Rivers?
Yeah.
God.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, it's just not...
Maybe they are tier 3. I think if they beat the Nuggets tomorrow, though, it might sway me, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. All right. Well, last thing let's talk about is if Jokic does get one more finals, where would you then rank him all time? Right now, where would you rank him? Right now, where would you rank him? I think we're both probably like, he's definitely the best centers ever, but he kind of has to be behind Shaq, Kareem, Hakeem, and I mean, like Bill Russell and Wilt are also in there.
So right now, top 10, I have him fringe. I think he's hovering around that 10.
So okay, but if the top 10 all time, right? We just named 5. I just named 5 centers that are probably over him. Which are Wilt, Russell, Shaq, Kareem, and Hakeem. So then you only got 5 other players in the top 10, which is Kobe, LeBron,
Duncan.
Duncan.
Magic.
I was gonna say, I was like, so Kobe, LeBron, Duncan, Magic, Jordan. No Bird.
No, I have Bird above him, so that's 11.
There you go.
So I'd have Jokic at 12. Because I have him above Durant.
I have him above Kevin Durant also.
Curry.
Curry should probably be above him.
So then Jokic is at 13.
Yeah.
Okay. He's 13 right now.
I think with another chip, he, for me,
passes Kareem for
leapfrogs
me.
Wilt and Kareem.
Both of those guys.
And like Russell's is just, his numbers are just weird. So it's like I'll probably put him over Russell.
I put him over Russell, so I'd put him
so
at 10.
It's just like against Shaq. And honestly, I'd be prepared to say, and this is just, I think this is me being biased, but I'd be fine putting him the greatest center of all time if he wins one more. And I know that's absurd, but it's like if he gets one more finals and potentially his 4th MVP, like that's guys who won 4 MVPs. It's like I think LeBron,
Jordan,
Kareem.
How many does Russell have? I don't even Wilt. I don't know how many of those guys have.
I think Wilt maybe. I'm like.
But yeah, point is, I think he wins one more. I think he's in the realm of the Birds and the Magics and Duncans and the Kobes. Like he passes Curry if he wins one more, no? Or is that...
Wilt does have 4. Kareem has more than 4. Bird got 3. Does he ever get a 4?
Did he win 3 in a row?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Did Magic get 4? Magic got, looks like 3. Jordan, I know, gets 5. LeBron, I know, gets 4. Did Duncan get 4? Just the 2. He just got the 2. So Jokic would be in an elite club that includes LeBron, Wilt, Kareem, and Jordan. That's it.
He wins this finals. Does he pass Curry for you?
And then Bill Russell also has 5 MVPs. Does he pass Steph Curry all time if he wins this finals?
That's the one I'm having a hard time with.
Yeah, that's a toughie. Because like the weird thing with Curry is it really feels like he only has 2 chips. You know?
Yeah, because the 2 Durant. Because he has 4, right?
Like the two Durant ones feel like nothing. I don't know, maybe. It would depend on how this finals run goes. Like, if this is like they beat the Thunder and then they play like the Celtics in the finals, and then like Jokic just looks like unbeatable, and he gets his 4th MVP, and it's just like, hell yeah. Then, like, yeah. And I'm prepared to call him best center ever. But, you kind of need to do that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I agree. We'll wrap it up. I got homework.
All right, we'll wrap this up. All right, thank you, RJ, for coming on. Are you coming on to talk about Severance?
Yeah, I think we're going to come in a couple weeks and do Severance, so
Okay.
I'm pretty excited for that.
Yep, next week I'll be talking about The Bachelor, and then week after that we'll be talking about Severance. So some of the best television shows, they're the same level of quality. So that's it. Thank you, RJ, for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's been good. So I will see you again.
For Severance. In a couple weeks.
Well, I'll see you again, like,
Now.
as soon as we end recording, but they'll hear from you again.
All right, sayonara.
All right. Thanks, Ronald.